If you've gone weeks without waking up to that morning erection, if you find yourself turning your back instead of wrapping your arms around your partner, if you've recently started to quietly wonder if those days of burning desire, those nights of passionate connection, are gone for good, then this video is for you. I'm Dr. John Miller, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of clinical experience. In that time, I've worked with thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, helping them reclaim the vitality, confidence, and masculine energy they thought they had lost forever. But what I'm about to share with you today isn't from a textbook. It came from a patient, a quiet, stoic old veteran who walked into my clinic at over 80 years old. He looked at me calmly and said, "I still wake up solid as a rock every morning. Never touched one of those little blue pills." I had to ask, "What's your secret?" He answered with a simple sentence, "A little snack before bed." Not a drug, not a supplement. Just a small bowl with 4 simple ingredients you probably have in your kitchen right now. And when I dug deeper, what I discovered absolutely astonished me. Because this little snack doesn't just help you sleep deeper, it can trigger testosterone production, lower performance anxiety, open up blood vessels to improve circulation, and ignite powerful physiological signals, all while you're sound asleep. Just 4 natural foods. No chemicals, no side effects. Just a few minutes before you go to bed. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what they are, why they work, and how you can start tonight. And I believe, if you're ready, this could change everything. Before we continue, if you want to reclaim your masculine edge and live a strong, fulfilling life at any age, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I'll be sharing more practical knowledge like this, specifically for men like you. And if what I'm saying resonates with you, comment with the number 1 below. If not, feel free to leave a 0 so I know what I need to improve. Now, let's start with the first ingredient. It sounds simple, even ordinary, but you'll be shocked by its true power for men's health. 1. The banana, a chemical powerhouse for male vitality growing up. I remember my father eating a banana every single night before bed. He never said why, and nobody asked. It was just one of those quiet, simple habits that so many older men have. I didn't think anything of it until years later, when I became a doctor. When I started seeing thousands of men coming to me for fatigue, erectile dysfunction, and loss of libido, I realized my father was onto something incredibly smart. The humble banana is one of the most underrated foods for supporting male vitality. It's not just about the potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and heart health. More importantly, bananas are rich in tryptophan. This is an amino acid your brain uses to produce serotonin, the neurotransmitter that improves your mood, soothes anxiety, and stimulates desire. And serotonin, in turn, is the precursor to melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep. Stay asleep and get quality, deep sleep. You see, testosterone, the most critical male hormone, is primarily produced when you are in a deep sleep. Not enough sleep. Testosterone plummets, you lose energy. You lose your drive. You lose that feeling of connection. I saw this firsthand in a patient of mine. Arthur, a 67-year-old retired teacher. He came into my office looking exhausted, telling me he'd felt listless for months, had no interest in anything, and was avoiding intimacy with his wife. He was considering testosterone therapy, but I told him, "Hold on, let's try this first." We adjusted his diet, prioritized sleep, and one of the simple things I added was 1 ripe banana before bed. Just 1. 2 weeks later, he came back with a small smile. "I'm sleeping better," he said, and I'm waking up feeling like a man again. I didn't need him to say another word. I understood. Because besides tryptophan, bananas also contain vitamin B6, which helps convert cholesterol into testosterone, a critical link many people miss. Without enough B6, testosterone levels can slowly decline without you even knowing it. And there's more. Bananas contain bromelain, an enzyme that supports blood circulation, improves sperm quality, and helps direct powerful blood flow to the areas where you need it most. Add to that manganese, a mineral that helps reduce inflammation in the prostate, which is a major trouble spot for men over 50. At this point, you might be asking, just one banana? Yes, not a drug, not a miracle cure, just a banana. At the right time, in the right way. Eating it before bed helps your brain produce serotonin, leading to deeper sleep, better testosterone regeneration, and relaxed blood vessels. No side effects, no dependency. Just your body getting the support it needs to heal itself. Naturally. Many people have chuckled when I first told them to eat a banana before bed. That's it, they'd say. But 2 weeks later, no one was laughing. Instead, I saw brighter faces, straighter backs, and a look of confidence that said, I'm not done yet. That's the power of food, of slowing down, listening to your body, and feeding it what it needs. But the banana is just the beginning, because the next ingredient is a spice once reserved for kings. It not only reawakens desire, but has been clinically shown to increase hardness and pleasure, while also improving your mental health. And just a tiny pinch before bed could be the key your body has been waiting for. 2. Saffron, the golden spice that awakens. Desire and emotion. When you mention saffron, most men shake their heads. That expensive spice for fancy cooking. Right. I used to think so. 2. For years, I saw saffron as just a colorful ingredient, sitting quietly in high-end food shops. Until I met Frank. He was 72 and came to see me almost a year after losing his wife. He was a kind, quiet, introverted man. After a long period of grieving, he had started to open his heart again and began dating. But he ran into a major obstacle. He told me in a whisper, I can't, my body just doesn't respond anymore. It's like I've been completely shut down. We started with the basics, improving sleep, eating healthier, reducing stress. But the turning point came from one tiny change. I suggested he add a pinch of saffron to a cup of warm water with honey before bed, or just sprinkle it on his evening snack. 3 weeks later, he returned, sat down in the chair, and smiled faintly. I don't know if it's the saffron or just that I'm sleeping better, he said, but I feel alive again. Doc, I've never forgotten that moment, because behind that smile was a recovery not just of the body, but of the will to live, of emotions that had gone dormant. Saffron isn't just a royal spice, it's a natural medicine used for centuries in traditional healing to reduce fatigue, balance emotions, and increase libido. And today, modern science is proving it works. In multiple randomized controlled studies, saffron has been shown to significantly improve symptoms of erectile dysfunction in men, not by forcing a reaction like a drug, but by supporting the entire system from your psychology to your blood vessels to your nerves. The main compounds, crocin and safranol, act as calming agents for the nervous system, reducing anxiety, stress, and mild depression. 3 silent enemies that destroy a man's confidence as he gets older. When the mind is at peace, the body can get ready. When your heart isn't heavy, desire has a chance to return. Not only that, but saffron has powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, which help protect your cardiovascular system and the tiny delicate blood vessels where blood flow needs to be strongest to create a physiological response. One study found that after just 10 days of regular saffron use, men showed improvements in the frequency and quality of their erections. Another study noted that sperm quality and pleasure also increased significantly, and the participants in these studies weren't young athletes. They were middle-aged and older men, just like you and me. So why isn't this information more common? Because saffron doesn't make profits for pharmaceutical companies. It can't be patented, it can't be aggressively marketed, but its effects are real, natural, and long-lasting. No dependency, no long-term side effects. I've recommended saffron to many patients, and I always tell them one thing. If your body feels out of sync, if you feel cold, lacking fire and connection, don't try to force it. Gently adjust, and saffron is like a musical note that helps you find the rhythm again. It won't make you explode overnight, but it reawakens your emotional rhythm, bringing back the warmth and desire that have been dormant. I'll always remember what Frank said during his follow-up visit. I don't just feel stronger. I've started to dream again. I find myself laughing, teasing, missing someone. Saffron doesn't just make you hard, it makes you feel, and once the mind is calm and the emotions have returned, the body needs one more thing: the power to respond. That's where our next ingredient comes in. A familiar, warming spice from many of our childhoods. But you might be using the wrong kind, and that's why you haven't seen the results. 3-Ceylon cinnamon, the silent warrior of your circulatory system. I vividly remember a special aroma from my childhood, the smell of cinnamon in the warm milk my grandmother would make for me on cold evenings. It was fragrant, comforting, and felt like a soft blanket wrapping around my soul. Back then, I just thought cinnamon was for flavor. It wasn't until I became a doctor that I realized my grandmother was giving me a healing remedy every day. But here's something very few people know. Not all cinnamon is created equal. Most of the cheap. Common cinnamon you see in the supermarket is cassia cinnamon. It's related to true cinnamon, but it's not what you want if you're trying to improve your sexual health, boost circulation, and stabilize your blood sugar. What you need is Ceylon cinnamon, also known as true cinnamon. It has a lighter aroma, a more delicate flavor, and most importantly, it's non-toxic to the liver and safe to use daily. I remember one patient, Bill, a 74-year-old who used to be a long-haul truck driver. He was a big, sturdy guy, but you could see a deep weariness in his eyes. He had high blood pressure, was pre-diabetic, and he and his wife hadn't been intimate in a very long time. He said something that really hit me. I don't need to be 20 again. I just don't want to feel invisible. We worked together to adjust his lifestyle and diet, and I introduced one simple habit into his nightly routine: add a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to his pre-bedtime snack. Sometimes he'd sprinkle it on a banana. Other times he'd stir it into a cup of herbal tea. 2 weeks later, he felt better. A month later, his blood pressure started to come down and his blood sugar was more stable. Then one morning, he walked into my office, smiled faintly, and said, "Doc, it's back." Not like a young buck, but solid. Enough to make me feel like myself again. You see, it's simple: no circulation, no erection. You can have all the desire and emotion in the world, but if your blood vessels are clogged, inflamed, and stiff, your body can't respond. Ceylon cinnamon is the perfect assistant to help clean and soften those blood pathways. It reduces inflammation in the arteries, helping them become more flexible and elastic, and increases blood flow to where you need it most. It doesn't stop there. Cinnamon also helps control blood sugar. As you get older, insulin resistance can quietly set in. You might not have full-blown diabetes, but fluctuating blood sugar is enough to damage the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, where nitric oxide is produced. Nitric oxide is the chemical that allows blood to rush into the genital area. Without nitric oxide, there's no erectile response, no matter how much you want it. And that's where cinnamon shines. Studies show that cinnamon helps lower fasting glucose, increases insulin sensitivity, and reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes. All of this leads to healthier blood vessels, stronger circulation, and a better response. But what impresses me most isn't the numbers on a lab report, it's the smiles that come back. It's seeing men who had given up now waking up with the quiet joy of knowing, my body is still alive. It still works. Just a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon each night. Stir it into warm tea, sprinkle it on a banana, or mix it with honey. You're not just helping that part of your life. You're healing your entire circulatory system, supporting your heart, and getting your body back in its natural rhythm. And if cinnamon is the spice that helps the blood flow smoothly, our final ingredient is the fuel that recharges your testosterone, protects your prostate, and helps your body rediscover its natural desire. And the special thing is, you've known it since you were a child. Sweet, comforting, and unbelievably nutritious. 4 raw honey, the fuel for testosterone and silent recovery. There's something very special about pure, raw honey. Maybe it's the way it flows slowly from the spoon, or the warm, fragrant aroma that fills the air when you stir it into a cup of warm tea. For me, it's a childhood memory. Every time I had a cough, my mom would say gently, "Just 1 spoonful, honey. You'll feel better." Back then, I just thought honey soothed my throat. But the longer I practice medicine, the more I work with hundreds of men who have lost their energy, their testosterone, and their connection. The more I realize that honey, if it's the right kind and used the right way, is a powerful but gentle dose of recovery. But not just any honey will do. You need raw, unpasteurized honey. The kind that still has all its enzymes, minerals, antioxidants, and living nutrients. Why? Because this kind of honey isn't just sugar. It's a complete system that supports your endocrine system, your circulation, and your mental well-being. I'll never forget a patient named Carl, a 69-year-old retired firefighter. He was a tough, solid guy, but he walked into my office with a dull look in his eyes. He said, "Lately, I just feel fuzzy, like I'm alive, but the signal isn't coming through." His testosterone was low, his sleep was poor, and things with his wife were tense. I didn't rush to write a prescription. We made small adjustments, and one of the things I added was 1 spoonful of raw honey every night. He looked at me and chuckled. That's it. 3 weeks later, he came back, and his whole posture was different. He stood up straight, his eyes were bright, and the first thing he said was, "Doc, that honey thing, it's for real." So why is it so effective? Honey supports testosterone, not by forcing it, but by creating the perfect environment for your endocrine system to heal itself. Raw honey contains boron, a rare but crucial trace mineral. It plays a role in balancing male sex hormones, and multiple studies have shown that boron helps increase free testosterone levels naturally, especially when combined with good sleep and stable blood sugar. Honey helps control blood sugar when used in the right dose. It doesn't cause a spike like refined sugar because it contains enzymes, antioxidants, and nutrients that support the liver. The liver is where excess estrogen is processed and removed, which in turn allows testosterone levels to rise. And most importantly, honey stimulates the production of nitric oxide, the messenger chemical that helps blood vessels relax and sends blood to the genital area. This is the exact same mechanism used by the famous little blue pill. No nitric oxide, no erection. And honey triggers it naturally, sustainably, without dependency. Furthermore, like honey is a natural anti-inflammatory agent. It helps repair the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, which can get damaged by stress, lack of sleep, smoking, or just age. For men who have spent a lifetime carrying the weight of their families on their shoulders, those blood vessels need healing. I've seen it happen over and over again. Men who thought their best years were behind them, living in a dull, passionless state, find that with just one spoonful of honey each night, they start to feel their vitality return. Then the energy, then the desire. It's not loud or sudden. It's just a quiet wave of recovery. A word of caution: don't use the processed honey in the plastic bear bottle. You need raw, organic, unheated honey. Just one small spoonful each night. Stir it into warm water, drizzle it over a banana, or mix it with your evening snack. Now, imagine what happens when you combine all four ingredients. The banana provides the neurotransmitters for desire. The saffron awakens your emotions and melts away stress. The Ceylon cinnamon opens up your blood vessels and stabilizes insulin. The raw honey restores testosterone and repairs the vascular lining. It's not magic. It's not an ancient secret. It's just real food, used at the right time, in the right way. So, how do you do it? How do you turn these four ingredients into a simple, delicious habit you can maintain every single night? I'm going to walk you through it, step by step. It takes less than a minute a day and could change how you wake up every morning. The 1-minute pre-bedtime ritual. You now understand the individual power of each ingredient from your mind to your blood vessels, from testosterone to sleep, but the real strength lies in the combination. When you put them together at the right time, in the right way, they stop being just food. They become a restoration ritual, a message you send to your body that says, it's time to rest, regenerate, and renew. And the best part, you don't need to be a chef. You don't need any fancy equipment. All you need is less than 1 minute each night. Here's how to do it, step by step. Take one ripe banana. Not green, but not overly mushy. The kind that's soft and easy to mash. Peel it, place it in a bowl, and use a fork to gently mash it until it's smooth. Do this slowly, letting your mind relax with each movement. Add a small pinch of saffron, about 6 to 8 threads, or a quarter teaspoon if you're using powder. Sprinkle it evenly over the mashed banana. This is your mood lifter, your desire awakener. Add a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. Remember, the real stuff Sri Lankan cinnamon, not the common cassia type. Mix it in. You'll start to smell that warm, comforting aroma. It's a familiar, almost ancient scent. Finally, drizzle 1 teaspoon of raw, organic honey over the top. Let it flow slowly, as if you're pouring a little bit of nature's healing sweetness right into your body. Now sit down and eat it slowly. No phone, no TV, no email. Just you in this moment. Eat this snack the way you'd talk to a loved one, gently, with presence and respect. And when you're done, don't rush to wash the bowl or check messages. Let your body settle down. Relax. Maybe have a cup of caffeine-free herbal tea. Read a few pages of a book, or simply sit quietly in the soft light. You've just given your body a gift, and it will thank you with silent recovery. Because as you sleep, the enzymes will start repairing. The sex hormones will begin regenerating, and the nitric oxide will be getting ready for the morning blood flow. Your emotions will start to rekindle in the background. Do this every night for 7 to 10 days. You will likely start to feel small but powerful changes. deeper sleep, waking up more refreshed, a warmth returning to your emotions, and a quiet confidence you thought you had lost. I've seen that look in the eyes of men who walked into my clinic slumped over and came back with a brighter gaze, straighter shoulders, and a smile that was subtle but full of life. One patient told me, "This morning, my wife put her hand on my shoulder and said, 'You seem like your old self again today.'" He wasn't smiling because of the physical part. He was smiling because he was back. The question now is, are you willing to give yourself 1 minute each night? Not to get your youth back, but to reclaim your vitality, to tell your body that you still matter, that you are still a complete man. You don't need a drug. You don't need anyone else's approval. You just need your own. Final words, you are not finished. If you've stayed with me this long, I want to take these last few moments to speak not as a doctor, but as one man talking to another. I understand that feeling when you reach a certain age and the world starts to look right through you. When you feel you're no longer attractive, no longer relevant, no longer have a voice. When each morning isn't a new beginning, but just another tired, repetitive habit. I have seen hundreds of men fall into that state. They don't scream or rebel. They just quietly shrink. They live smaller, bit by bit, because they think their time is over. But I am telling you today, and I hope you carve this into your mind, you are not finished. You are just waiting to be reawakened. What I've shared with you here is not a magic trick or a gimmick. It's 4 real foods: banana, saffron, cinnamon, and raw honey. They were chosen because they work in harmony with your body. No force, no chemicals, no empty promises. They create the conditions for your body to do what it already knows how to do: heal itself. They reawaken what you thought was lost: the desire, the connection, the confidence, the presence in your body, in your emotions, in your life. You know, I've seen men walk into my clinic with their shoulders slumped, only to return a few weeks later with bright, clear eyes, a steady gaze, and a simple statement: "I feel like myself again." They didn't get younger, but they returned to themselves with a sense of peace, pride, and a quiet energy that makes everyone take notice. I don't promise this will change you overnight, but I do promise that if you are patient, if you respect yourself, if you allow your body to recover each night, then 7 to 10 nights from now, you will start to notice. You'll wake up with more energy. Your mind won't feel so foggy. And when you touch your partner, you won't feel awkward or distant. You will want to, and you will be able to, because you are not too old. You are not broken. You are not obsolete. You just needed the right touch to reignite the fire that is still glowing inside you. And if you need someone to remind you of this every day, I am here. If this video touched something in you, please hit the like button so I know I'm not just talking to myself. Share this video with another man who might also be silently struggling with feeling like he's lost a part of himself. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the journey to mastering your masculine vitality doesn't end here. You are not too late. You are just getting started. I'll see you in the next video.